If I had to start over today, no gear, no studio, no clients, no connections, would I start a photography business again in 2026? Honestly, probably not. And that is absolutely shocking, right? Coming from somebody who's built one of the go to photography companies in Atlanta over the last 17 years, if you do a search for most of the things to do with photography, you're going to find queries photography on that first page, 5-star reviews, all of the jazz, right? I still get people that reach out to me now on a daily basis, every day, every other day, emails, call, asking about photography, and I get a chance to really pick and choose. So I want to preface this by saying, right, I'm not saying before people start trying to shoot me in the comments, right? I'm not saying that you can't win in photography still in 2026 because you absolutely can. In fact, right now is one of the best, like the best times to be able to kind of build a business because online gives us so much access to be able to get in front of people whenever you want, like regardless of where you are. You can actually put your message in front of the right people if you know how to do that. But this is where things get tricky, right? I'm just talking about 2026. If I was getting ready to, if 2026 right now, I would not start another business where my income was completely dependent on me having to do a shoot, me having to pick up a camera, me having to do a thing. And I know obviously people want something. I'm not a person that just want something for nothing, right? But what I would do, I will put in place systems and processes, things that work without me having to do it. And just so you can kind of really understand my journey as a photographer, because I'm sure some of you guys might be, or gals could be in the same situation. I'm going to push you back all the way to 2006, right? When I first picked up a camera. I was working with the airline back in the day in the IT department. And this is the crazy part. I bought a camera, like most of you probably have done. You're like in a point where you're kind of looking for cameras, you're looking for gear. So I bought a camera, really just playing around, right? And we all know, I remember like it was yesterday, my girlfriend at the time asked me, I know you're not trying to be a photographer. And I'm just like, no, I just like shooting. So so here we are, like as time is going on, you have that camera, like you like trying to shoot everything. You shooting your friends, your family, whatever you can get your hands on, you trying to take pictures of. And that bug bit me, right? I got to the point where working at the job, right? I would be working on my business as a photographer or just stuff related to photography on the job, to the point where when my manager asked me to do something for the job, I got mad. Like, don't you see I'm working on Corey Reese right now? So that's the crazy part. I'm getting paid, but I'm finding more interest in kind of my passion. So I'm sure you guys can relate. So fast forward 2008. This was like really a middle of a recession, and my company offered a volunteer leave. Me being a young guy, had never worked for myself. I didn't even realize that we was in the middle of a recession, right? So when they offered a voluntary leave, I took. They offered you could take either where from 1 month to 12-month leave. I ended up taking that month leave, and as soon as I took that month leave, I ended up getting booked for a reality show called Welcome to Dreamland. It was a show loosely based around two big producers that were finding the next star. They had a photographer each team. I was one of the photographers. So here I am thinking my career was getting ready to blow up. And it didn't. And the show ended and it seemed like everything was just back to normal. In fact, 8 months after that, I went ahead and said, you know what, after that first month, I said, I'm going ahead and take this full 12 months. So within 8 months, my bank account hit negative for the first time in my life. And here I am. I'm like, man, like, did I make the right decision? Like, what was I freaking thinking? Leaving a corporate IT position to go out here and take pictures of people. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part. Like, 'cause I guess what I want to make sure people understand is that just because people like you and you have good work, that does not automatically guarantee you business. Take that down, right? You have to learn how to market yourself, and that's kind of what I did. And marketing was something that helped me not only build my business, but as I started building my business, some of the clients that I was doing the photo and the video production for, they saw what I was doing, and they were interested in that. So I actually used that as a skill set where I was able to start getting paid to help people market their business on top of shooting. So if you're into this thing, I definitely tell you, regardless of whether you're going to help people market themselves, being able to understand that point gives you a whole nother level than somebody that's just taking photos. So learn marketing. If you want to be a photographer, fine. If you're passionate about it, go for it. But also learn marketing. Understand how to build your business, how to get the clients, how to put your work in front of the people that are actually looking for what it is that you offer. And I promise you, you will get an opportunity to leverage that to the point where one of the clients that I actually work with, I was able to work out a percentage. I scaled that business single handedly. I redid the photos for the website, did all the video production, put all the ads together. I scaled that company to $1 million in 6 months, right? And I was getting 25% of everything that was coming in the door. So that was a great time, a great skill set to be able to have. Now, before I even got to that point, let me back you up a little bit and then we're going to go right back forward. So after I started figuring out the marketing, I'm working consistently, that type of thing. In around 2012 or so, I started, in one of my lull seasons, I said, you know what? Let me just start putting together some content to help other photographers. So just aimlessly put together some content just on some principles, that type of thing. Those training videos later became courses. And in 2015, I uploaded my courses to a platform and I built an audience over 56,000 students across 181 different countries that take my courses and training. That one platform, right? I have gotten a check every single month since 2015. And that's when I realized that I have to understand, how do I separate my time from my income? And that was one of the coolest ways to be able to help other people and be able to create income that continues to pay you over and over and over again. So now back to 2026. Now, as you can see, if I was none of that even existed, no gear, I'm going to put my time and effort into something that will allow me to leverage my time and resources. Yes, you can go out, you can get clients. You know what? You book a client, you edit, you, you deliver the product, and now it's all over again. Granted, if something happened to you, you can't shoot, you get sick. If you don't have anything to fall back on, especially if this is your full-time job, you're going to be in trouble unless you've built up a reserve. But the sad part about it is most photographers don't put themselves in a situation to build reserve, right? They're shooting their month to month. So if they have a bad month, they're in trouble, because I've had some of those too, right? Like I said, my account hit negative for the first time in my life, and that was freaking terrifying. So through my journey of shooting, trial and error, putting those courses online, it brought me to a couple years ago. I started thinking to myself, it's a difference between somebody watching a video online and somebody actually being in person. It's nothing in between. Either you're going to watch a tutorial, which is passive, or you're going to find yourself into a workshop or where you can be in person. It's nothing like, I don't think anything is going to replace in person just yet. But what I started thinking about was, you know what? What is the next thing, right, that can bridge the gap between online and person? Because everybody's not going to have opportunities in person. The workshop, your favorite photographers, they pop up workshop, different places, once, twice a year, sometimes local places, and you can't always make those things. So that got me to thinking about what was the next thing. And that's where I created Immersive Exposure. Immersive Exposure is the first virtual reality training platforms where photographers can put on a VR headset, they can experiment with gear, they can photograph models. You don't have to chase people. This gives people an opportunity to really play around, right, with all of the things they want to do. Try the gear out, try the lights, and do the practice before they actually get to the real shoot. So that's my platform. So I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested. It also have other professional photographers that we film in 3D. So it gives the learners an opportunity to see behind the scenes on these sets from a different perspective. It's almost like you're in the room with that photographer, to be able to learn from them. And then once you're tired of just watching, you can step into the virtual sandbox and go practice yourself, and then that gets you ready. So that's kind of where things have been heading for me, being able to create something where, yes, you can scale a business, your clients, you can have 50, 100 clients a year, right? You can grow studios, you can get other photographers to shoot for you, but you're always going to be limited. I think for me, having the opportunity to have a software company as a tech founder, that gives me the opportunity to impact millions of people at the same time. I can be here right now and people are using my applications across the world, right? So that's my take, right? And this is the thing. I know some of the photographers gonna hate me for this, but I want to make sure you, if you go look online, you see all these people popping up that have tutorials, they teaching, they telling you about the gear. Most photographers shoot less than what they actually teach. So they teaching more, right? They're making more money teaching than they are actually photographing people. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think it's almost like a rite of passage for the photographers who have put the work in, they've built the business, they have people reaching out. So you should progress, right? You should put yourself in a situation where now you can kind of use that knowledge to help other people. But that's my take. If you want to do photography, if you're serious about it, you absolutely can. What I will tell you is definitely forget about going down a rabbit hole of the gear. Find something that works for you. Camera, get you a lens, and practice. Understand how to market yourself. I would probably start learning how to market at the same time that you're learning photography because it's that important. Because I can promise you this, it's plenty of people. Like more people have cameras right now than ever. Like over 50% of the world's population engage in photography in one way or another. And it might not necessarily be with a mirrorless or a DSLR. It's with this what we call right here, a smartphone. So it's a lot of people that's out there that's taking photos, that's trying to learn, and it's also a lot of clientele, businesses like content creators that need content, businesses. So it's a lot of opportunity to be able to find your lane, being able to put your work in front of the people that are trying to use what it is that will be interested in the work that you actually offer. So don't get discouraged if that's what you want to do because not one person, I don't care how good you are, how many followers that you have, can serve every client that has a need, right? So that gives everyone hope to be able to find their tribe, find the people that rock with what you bring to the table, and go from there. Keep your head down. Don't get too caught up in what this person is doing, what that person is doing. It's because I can tell you what, that will be the easiest way for you to get down on yourself, get discouraged, and you'll be done before you get started good. All right, so that's my 2 cents, guys. Would I start a business? Absolutely not. I would definitely go with how to solve problems for people, like with the software that I can impact more people at one time, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So if you're interested in the mission that we're putting together with Immersive Exposure, I'll leave a link in the description, whether that's you are an instructor or if you're looking for a way to be able to learn photography in a cool way, cool, innovative way in this next future. All right, talk to you soon. Take care.